The Blackburn Rovers transfer news continues to bubble this week as we're linked with a giant of a midfielder. Who are we talking about? We're going to get into it, all of it, next. That's right, folks, back once again with another transfer video. Today we're talking about a Blackburn Rovers scouting mission over in La France, of course. What are we talking about? Who are we talking about? We'll get into it, all of it, in a second, of course. Big shout out to the VIPs. They are the patrons. You know who you are. And again, if you're new, smash your subscribe button. Your one-stop shop for Rovers content is right here under Roverseas, of course. All week, we're going to have transfer rumours that have been bubbling over the past few days. Today, we have a giant of a midfielder. Not giant by name, but giant by actual nature. Clocking in 6'7" tall. Who are we talking about? We'll get into it in a minute, of course. Again, big shout out to the VIPs. And again, smash the like, boys and girls. Your one-stop shop for Rovers content continues. Now, before we jump into the thick of things, before we jump into the video, I want to showcase something brand new to the channel. What is it? Well, it's the join button, folks. Yep. We have gone there. Now, this, of course, provides an alternative way that you can support the channel besides your viewerships, besides, of course, liking the videos, and, of course, besides subscribing to the channel. It does, of course, cost you, I think, $2.99 to support the channel in an alternative way. It does give us the possibilities to expand the channel, whether it is via equipment, whether it's via graphics, or some other way, shape, or form. It is in its infancy. We are going to look to expand the features of memberships, but I want to highlight that is now available, and of course, completely up to you. If you feel like doing it, make sure you smash it, get involved, and I'll reach out to you afterwards. But until then, let's get back to the video. Alrighty then, folks, let's take a look at the player who has been linked. He goes by the name of Kalidou Sidibé. That's right, plays his football over in Guingamp, over in La France. Now, this, of course, article or link has been translated kindly by the 72 website, but it originated from Cameroon Web. Now, of course, Kalidou Sidibé, clocking in 7 inches tall, does have 12 months left of his contract. We're going to take a deep dive into him in a minute. We also have competition from Hull City for him. But where on earth is he going to feature, or where could he feature for Blackburn Rovers next season? Well, let's have a little look at them in all his glory. Of course, I'm getting a little excited by some of these deals, but here he is. All right, let's take a look at this young chap. Here he is, of course, when he did play for Toulouse, towering above his teammates. Of course, can play in defensive midfield, also play a little bit further up as a box-to-box midfielder, but also can deputise at the back. We'll explore his personal attributes in a second. This is his, of course, playing days. Where, of course, currently on the books of Guingamp, he has scored a few goals as well from his defensive spots, but very much a mainstay in the French lower leagues, you would say. Never really, we'll see the competition here. He has played in Ligue 1, 24 occasions, but League 2 is his bread and butter. So can he make the transition from League 2 for the second tier of French football to the second tier of English football? That's, of course, the question on everybody's lips. This is his heat map for this past season. As you can see, very much involved both sides of the field, both the left and the right. But from that defensive midfield slot, very much a very active player. This is, of course, his positions throughout this campaign. As you can see, he was also thrown up top when needed, and also can play as a centre back, but more often than ever found in that defensive midfield slot for Guingamp this past season. Let's take a look at his valuation. Now, his valuation did peak one time at £3.5 million. That was, of course, for Toulouse. Since then, he has transferred over to Guingamp amongst other clubs, and his valuation is on the wane. But maybe that is down to contract situations or not. So I am going to compare him to a defensive midfielder on our books at the minute, and that is Luis Travis. Now I'm going to let's go back to me for a second. Now, the reason I'm doing this, we've already done a video this week on a defensive midfielder that's currently linked as well from Birmingham City, Sung Hyung So or whatever his name is. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. Realistically, it looks like we're looking for a replacement or a defensive midfielder. But I cannot, in a realm as a Blackburn Rovers fan, currently see Luis Travis, the guy from Birmingham, Tronstad, and this fella all coming in and competing for one, maybe two spots. I think we'd have three defensive midfielders at the limit, and that's, of course, stretching things. Realistically, you're going to thrive with two. So what I'm getting at here is I'm thinking maybe this chap here, Sidibé, or the Birmingham City lad could be coming in as a replacement for a Travis or a Tronstad or stuff. What I'm hoping ideally is that we keep Travis, we keep Tronstad, and we add an additional face, whether it's Sidibé, whether it's this Birmingham lad, whether it's that McCann fella that was released from Hull City. So I'm hoping for 3 defensive midfielders on the books to compete for 1, maybe 2 positions, and of course having a bit of depth on the bench. So, but what my vibe is that we could see a fella leaving, and right now the spotlight would be on Lewis Travis. I think Lewis Travis is the more likely to leave than Tronstad, of course, following his position last season where he was loaned out to Ipswich. Of course, they were promoted. Not necessarily a starter for Ipswich, but interest might be in there. There was interest before, but maybe I'm still hoping John Eustace can kind of calm his jets, maybe re-give him the captain's arm and make a statement of intent to see where we are with Lewis Travis. But if we are to sell, then we do need somebody that's got that bit of bite, bit of X factor in the defensive midfield slot, and maybe Sidibé could be the fella. Of course, he does tower above everybody, and of course, let's take a look at his personal figures right here, right now. Look at that, 20 centimeters taller than Lewis Travis. Of course, both play with the right foot. Both contracts expire in 2026, so a couple of years yet left on the Lewis Travis deal, but and again a little difference in players, but ultimately they do play in that defensive midfield slot. He is a year or so younger, or actually a few months younger than Lewis Travis, but he would come in at a good age, I think, for this team. I don't want to be linked with 17, 18-year-olds for the first team. We need players, of course, around about this age mark, 25, 26, 27, that sort of thing, to provide some experience, some know-how. And he did peak at 3.5 million, as Lewis Travis also peaked at 5 million. They both peaked at those heights just last year. Oh, actually, sorry, not last year. Tell a lie. Way back in their career. Let's take a look at that. There we go. There's the valuations right now. So, of course, the youngster from Sidibé did peak way back in 2018, 2019. Travis peaked quite recently before the move to Ipswich this past year at 5 million. So, I think if we are to sell Lewis Travis, if we can get anything around about this 3.54 million pounds, I think we'll be doing good. Of course, there was interest from Luton Town. I think Millwall as well, but I don't know if they have that kind of money to splash around these days. Let's take a look then at the stats then from these two sides. More stats, of course, by Lewis Travis, considerably more, 130 games more within a few months of age. So Lewis Travis definitely has that know-how, no-nonsense stuff. And of course, Sidibé only briefly peaking at League One level. 24 matches, just the 1 goal. But, it is an option for Rovers. Again, what I can say is that I've been impressed with the names and the caliber of links that we're getting with right now. I don't know how much plaudits can be put on the new recruitment staff that have been drafted in this past couple of weeks. But the likes of the Augustus fella, I don't know if that video's out yet, but Augustus fella, there's a striker being linked. Of course, the guy from Birmingham City. Now this fella, there are much better quality players than we've been used to. Will we see any of that quality coming on through? That's, of course, an argument for the future. I would usually stick up Noel Edmonds right now saying deal or no deal, but I never got that graphic ready. So if I was to say deal or no deal, honestly, it's tight. I don't see a world where we're picking up the guy from Birmingham and picking up this guy here. So it's a coin flip. I'd love to see one or both. But if that case, that would mean the likes of Lewis Travis would leave. So, but I cannot see that. I think it will be one or other. A defensive midfielder does look like a priority for Rovers, whether or not Lewis Travis is in the focal point for me. But again, if the numbers are right, it looks decent. It looks a great opportunity for Rovers, and to have a player of that, that height already, you would imagine have a presence in the box, especially for set pieces, things like that. I think it's a no-brainer. You know, that's not down to me. It's down to John Eustace. I'm excited by the prospect of Sidibé joining, but Willie, that's of course a story for another day. Let's see what happens over the next weeks, and again, if there's anything concrete in it, whether a bid has been laid down or whether any actual offers are confirmed, well, I'll let you know right here on the channel. But until then, subscribe, smash the like. That's another link for you. They keep on coming throughout the week. Got them all stacked up, ready to go. But until then, guys and girls, we'll see you later. Until then, we are done.